Carving a Turkey and a Place in History, next on Kentucky Afield Radio. It would be easier to separate mint juleps from the Kentucky Derby than to ever try to pry the turkey from Thanksgiving. As commonplace as the turkey is in our life, Thanksgiving without a turkey might be just another Thursday.
Ben Franklin, he actually wanted it to be the national bird instead of the eagle. A lot of people laughed at him, said they were too dumb to, but I don't know how smart a turkey is, but wary it definitely is, and it's a beautiful bird.
Jim Lane is the wild turkey biologist with the Kentucky Division of Wildlife. Jim says that before the turkey was a bird of the barnyard, the turkey was, and is still, the most fascinating bird of the forest.
Turkeys can run up to 25 miles an hour, and they can fly upwards of 50-plus miles an hour. They're remarkable flyers and extremely quick.
Obviously, the domesticated butterball comes from good genes.
Just absolutely remarkably keen senses, can pinpoint direction and location of a sound from hundreds of yards away. Their eyesight is absolutely remarkable. They can pick up movement at 100 yards, 200 yards, just a slight flinch.
Of course, if something doesn't quite measure up to standards, we call it a turkey. But turkeys are one way we measure the great outdoors. These birds are native only to North America, and there are 5 different types. The eastern wild turkey lives in Kentucky and is abundant in every county.
There are a lot of things that prey on turkeys. Bobcats are one of the big ones in Kentucky, coyote, great horned owls, red-tailed hawks. Anything that could catch one that likes to eat meat will do it.
And people consume turkey to the tune of 17.5 pounds per person per year. The turkey's popularity came about thanks in part to the bluegrass state. It was in 1863 when native Kentuckian and President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed Thanksgiving a national holiday. But part of the holiday story that isn't as quick to be told is that as recently as the 1930s, North America's wild turkeys were on the verge of extinction.
The whole eastern U.S. was over-harvested on turkeys and on timber. Basically everything was clear-cut, and it took away the habitat that turkeys needed.
At the time, only 30,000 remained.
Restoration efforts by the different state agencies, coupled with the National Wild Turkey Federation, when they were formed in 1977, have really helped the populations everywhere.
Everywhere, including Kentucky.
We started stocking in about 1978, and we stocked for 20 years. Close to 7,000 birds we relocated into the state from western states.
Today, we have close to 250,000 turkeys in Kentucky, a number kept in check from a growing number of turkey hunters, who every spring and fall are thinking table and trophy as they trek to the woods.
Deer and turkey, grouse, woodcock, quail, all of the above are doing remarkably well compared to, say, 80 years ago.
If your interest in turkey takes you past the leftovers, then you know the strengths and the beauty of these forest birds. That said, calling someone a turkey is sort of a compliment. But
if you watch turkeys, they seem to get confused and hung up by simple things. For instance, I've seen turkeys try to go through a woven wire fence when they can obviously fly right over. I've seen turkeys that won't cross a creek. A lot of hunters call it hanging up. There are simple things that hang them up in the woods that would be easier for them to get around. And sometimes they seem baffled by simple obstacles, and that might be where part of it comes from.
We borrow the term gobble from a turkey, but it's typically only the male turkey that gobbles. The female, or hen, makes more of a yelp.
The biggest difference is the bird at the grocery store has been bred and rebred to inherit certain traits. The big breast. They don't fly as well. They can go airborne, but they can't fly for any distance whatsoever. They're basically a mutation compared to the wild birds. Wild birds are taller. Wild birds are more lean.
While November checks in as highest in turkey consumption, it's June that is actually National Turkey Lovers Month, and dating back to the time of the Pilgrims, we Americans have spread the love of turkey worldwide and beyond. When astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin sat down to their first meal on the moon back in July of 1969, their foil food pouch contained roast turkey and all the trimmings. We are thankful for turkeys, wild and domestic, for the role they play at our family feast and in the natural world around us. The bounty of nature played a key role in that first Thanksgiving, and it can also be part of the next. To learn more, log on to eatturkey.com or nwtf.org. Kentucky Afield Radio is a broadcast service of the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, your partner in the great outdoors.